What's up, everyone in the YouTubosphere? It's Relentless here, and I am here today bringing you a brand new edition and a brand new episode of Division Builds. Now, as you can see by the background behind me, I am in the Prescriptions and Advice Center here in the light zone of the Division. And as I see in my own community, which is Revolution Gaming, their link is in the description below. If you'd like to be a part of that revolution, that gaming community revolution, where you have like-minded, positive thinkers that are always there and willing to help you in any and all ways that they can, then that is the gaming community for you. Also, there's a link in the description below for Cinch Gaming Controllers. Use code CINCH4206 and receive 5% off on all your purchases. And as of right now, they have a special going on where it ships next day. So you order it today, it ships it out tomorrow, and you get that great Cinch technology that you can remap the buttons on the back. You can have a multiple of up to 4. Or you can just stick with the standard 0 and X. They are competitive and pro controllers that can be used in ESL, CWL, and all tournaments, and you never have to take your thumbs off your sticks in order to, say, drop shot, reload, hurdle vault things. If you want to elevate your game, I advise please go check them out. And also the link to the giveaway video is also in the link description below, so be sure to check out all that fantastic news and updates provided in those links. And if you want to be a part of the revolution, then be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into this build. Now, the questions that may surround you, it's a common question, especially if you like to PvP in the Dark Zone. There's so much build diversity out there, and there's pretty much every build under the sun has been created and thrown up in the YouTubosphere. So this is not going to be any surprise, or this is just my take and my opinion on the thing, but as it has existed since day one pretty much of checkpoint campers. Now, what is the best way to deal with checkpoint campers? Whether you're solo, double, a 4-man group, especially if you're a single or double and you're not being able to get the task done with what build you're using, such as like a Predator or whatever the case may be. Though it's a 50-50 shot when it comes to skill builds, it's just a matter of your movement and what you strategize to do before you just go blazing out the door, which is, you know, switch to another checkpoint behind them, flank them from behind. If you're single or double, get some more squad mates in there. But this is what I found to be one of the best ways if you say you're on a Predator or any other build to switch to this build. Now let's jump right into it. As you can see, I'm going with 4-piece Banshee. You say, why 4-piece Banshee? Well, let's look over the talents. The looted DZ funds, if you're like me, don't really matter. But you do get, with the 3-set bonus, is the 10% damage to out of cover. Now, this 4-piece set bonus is what makes this unique and helps dispatch those checkpoint campers. And that's while rogue, all ammo is completely refilled every 30 seconds. Damage taken from non-rogue players reduced by 10%. While not rogue, damage to rogue players is increased by 10%. This bonus is increased by 20% for 10 minutes after being killed by a rogue. So if they're checkpoint camping and they're rogue, then it's going to increase your damage 10% going on to them. Then you add in the 10% out of cover, so that's a total of 20%. Now, let's say you go into the DZ and you just happen to, you know, want to face these checkpoint campers. You go out there and get insta-melted, and let's say your squad mates come to help you out, and then you go out there and you have on the Banshee set. So you're going to get the 20-piece increase in damage for the 10 minutes after your death. And then, on top of that, you also still had the 10% out of cover. So, or that accumulates to 30% bonus damage on your sets. And as you can see, I'm rocking the MP5ST and my go-to, the SASG-12. With brutal, responsive, and competent, 110 magazine size, 5% reload speed, 5.3% rate of fire. And this is how I felt and have played all my SG, no matter what the talents are on them. I always opt in for the optimal range. As you can see, 49% on my underbarrel and another 24.5% on my small optics, which is roughly around 72 to 73% optimal range on top of that. So actually I have more range on my shotgun than I do my MP5 ST at this point. As you see, my base damage 94.6, and my base damage on my MP5 ST is 17.3. Now these will change as far as damage variations between whatever situation you're in the DZ. Plus, it's a factor of, you know, the whole after you die and for that next 10 minutes. So these damages will increase. Some people like to rack up the more firearms and not go so much on stamina. But I think this is overall more or less a balanced style of this build. But by all means, if you want to stack on more firearms, then go for it. On my MP5 ST, I have responsive, deadly, and vicious. Magazine size, 109.5%. Crit hit chance, 5.2% rate of fire. Crit hit chance, headshot damage, and crit hit damage on my optics. That is the Trinity, the trifecta on the large optics. And the small muzzle, I have crit hit chance, headshot damage, and crit hit damage, and reduced threat. And on my underbarrel, I have crit hit damage, accuracy, and stability. Now, I stacked into skill haste on all my gear and all my mods. Well, I wouldn't say all my gear, but more or less on all my mods. And I'll get into my character sheet after we go through each individual piece. Now, I have a decent armor roll on my chest piece at 1948 with enemy armor damage and health and ammo capacity. And my mod slots, I have 254 firearms, 3% skill haste, 261 firearms, and 3% skill haste. Hold on, Slim. Don't have no fear. I'll be on Rainbow Six Siege in the future near. Okay, I'll try to make that rhyme, but I'm a poet and didn't know it. But anyways, let's get right back into this. Now, some of you out there might have better mods than this, so that will increase your stats just a little bit, depending on the mods that you have. So keep that in mind. Moving on to the mask. 969 armor. I wish it was higher. I wish it was like the Striker mask here at 1001. That'd be almost awesome. I opted in for skill power, and it has 1251 in stamina, which is, I feel that 1250 is the max cutoff, and anything below that in your main stat is just a filler piece to find something else with the highest available armor roll that you can get on all your gear pieces. And the minor attributes, blind depth resistance, rather that be such as bleed resistance or burn resistance for those fire turrets and the shock turrets, and also for the Predator's Mark. So those three would be much better than the blind death resistance. And in the mod slot, 249 firearms, 3% skill haste. Moving on to the knee pads, 1463 armor, not too shabby. It could be better with 1269 in firearms. I opted in for health. If you want to opt in for crit hit damage, by all means, it's up to your personal playstyle. I also have these Banshees, and as you can see, the crit hit damage plus 8%, but opted in for this one. Just for simple fact, the firearms roll is higher, and it makes me a little bit more tankier as far as health. And in the mod slots, I have 263 electronics and 3% skill haste with 6% first aid self-heal. No surprise, specialized backpack is pretty much the go-to in backpacks. If you're running a 4 and 2 combination, you really can't do it if you're running a 3 and 3, such as like a Banshee Lone Star. That would be accompanied for like shotguns and LMG builds, or you can go Banshee Predator builds. I also have videos on those hybrid builds in my channel, so be sure to check the other builds out for 1.6. Very informative. It all depends on if you're an SMG player or you're a shotgun and LMG player. I would recommend the Predator Banshee 3 and 3 or the Predator, Banshee and Lone Star if you're going with shotgun and LMG, which would be a 3 and 3 there. But if you're going for a 4 and 2, then a specialized backpack is the go-to. 1258 in firearms, 13,257 in health, and bleed resistance with 259 stamina at skill haste, and 6% first aid self-heal in both of the prototype performance mod slots. Moving on to the Spec Ops gloves, Savage, 1256 and firearms with SMG damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Now moving on to the holster, not too bad, but could be better as far as main stats. At least they are over 1200, but this is by far what I more or less came across. I actually re-rolled the stamina on this holster, but it is rolled for health, and since I wanted to spec in for more skill haste, that's why this holster is equipped. And in the mod slot, 5.5% first aid self-heal. Now you can mix and match these if you prefer going with a Barrett's chest piece. You can do that and just switch out the gloves. You can go with a rapid chest piece or Vigorous. The sky's the limit on your personal preference and playstyle. There's not really a cookie cutter way of doing any build. Even back in 1.5, you know, the way alpha was and whatnot, it wasn't really a I can't even say it because it's a cookie cutter build, just for the simple fact of it depends on the person's playstyle. How well you're able to move and your movement, your strafing, your hip firing, and basically in the Division PvP, you need to practice on your hip fire. I know it sounds cheesy, but I mean, that's the circle jerk chicken dance that has become PvP in the Dark Zone. Just run up quick, make sure you have something that, you know, sprays and prays, and, you know, you're good on your movement speed, and have your dead zone on your aiming and all that turned where it needs to be, and basically you can sit there and just push your sticks inwards or whichever direction you want to, and just pretty much circle around them. And if they don't know how to move and don't know how to get out of it or do it themselves, then basically they're going to just run around you in that little small circle and just spray you down. Most of them are using like responsive, unforgiving, competent, things of this nature, and, you know, getting all that bonus damage on top of their flat damage, and they pretty much just melting you down. So always think of your personal play style and how you play, whether, you know, you like to duck and cover. If you want to even switch it up and go with a nimble holster instead of the Savage gloves, by all means, you can do that. I mean, the sky's the limit on how you can mix and match this. You can go, instead of skill haste, you can, you know, stack on the health. You can, you know, stack on crit hit chance if you want to do that. We'll look at my character sheet. As you see on my MP5ST, I'm at 51.5% crit chance, 83% crit damage, 61% headshot damage, only 6% enemy armor damage. That's coming from that vest. Skill haste 22% with 125.736k skill power. As you can see, my toughness is at 341.6, and my max health in my health pool is 233. Armor is at 31.76%. Now these will fluctuate and vary. This is just based on the pieces that I have, but you might have pieces that have better base stat armor on them, so therefore that numbers will go up. So this is just not more or less a blueprint on exactly how to do it, because each person and their playstyle is different. You know yourself better than anyone else. We can just give you an idea on what to go and let you know what works best for us when PvPing in the Dark Zone. And for instance, this is just mine. But hope you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to get back to more or less doing a little more Division videos. But I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying Rainbow Six Siege. There's a little more thought that goes into it when it comes to, you know, as far as competitive play. It's more or less a game of angles and actually communicating with your squad mates and working together with its skills and each operator to actually win a match, whether it be to capture bomb defuse or whatever the case may be. I'm just really enjoying it. So apologize for not doing any Division videos for some time. I'm just having a lot of fun on Rainbow Six Siege. So if you're on PS4, and whether it be Division or Rainbow Six Siege, if you want to hop over, say hello, or squad up, then send me an invite or send me a friend request, and my gamer tag is always RelentlessXRG. And don't forget to check out the links in the description below for Revolution Gaming, Cinch Gaming controllers that are a sponsor of myself. Shout out to them. And stay tuned for a cellular C4 gaming fuel video unboxing and review. That'll be coming up, and also an unboxing and review of the Cinch gaming controllers with Cinch Tech technology, also with the adjustable trigger stops and the gamer grip that is built into it. So I'm looking forward to all that. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning into my videos and showing me all the love and support that you do. Stay tuned for many more giveaways. And as always, I'm Relentless, and we'll see you guys.
I got broads in Atlanta, just to the lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van.